Michigan. Fox 17 News at 10 starts right now.
A federal judge is dismissing the criminal case against a former Michigan State Police sergeant. This comes a year to the day after charges were initially announced. Brian Keeley was charged with second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter in the April 2024 death of Samuel Sterling. Our Matt Whitghost joins us in studio with the judge's ruling and what both sides of this case are now saying.
Keeley's attorney argued that he was entitled to immunity under the Constitution's Supremacy Clause, saying it protects federal officers performing their official duties. Meanwhile, state attorneys argued that Keeley was acting outside the scope of his authority and was not entitled to immunity. In her 19-page opinion, federal judge Hala Jarbo wrote that she was not persuaded by the state's argument. The opinion reads in part, the state has not presented sufficient evidence to create a genuine dispute about whether Keeley acted pursuant to federal law and did no more than what was necessary and proper for him to do in attempting to apprehend Sterling. Accordingly, Keeley is entitled to immunity under the Supremacy Clause of the U.S. Constitution. The judge went on to say that she's dismissing the charges against Keeley.
Sterling, get your hands in the air right now!
The charges stem from an incident on April 17, 2024. A group of federal marshals, including Keeley, were trying to arrest 25-year-old Sterling on several warrants. Officers tried to take Sterling into custody at a gas station in Kentwood, but he ran. There was a chase, and Keeley in an unmarked police cruiser hit Sterling, pinning him briefly against a wall of a Burger King. He was pronounced dead hours later. In a statement written after the incident, Keeley said he was trying to cut Sterling off from the restaurant door and get him to change directions. In a previous conversation I've had with Sterling's father, he told me he was aware of the warrants, but that his son didn't deserve to die for them. Keeley's attorney did put out a statement following the judge's opinion. It reads in part, "We are grateful that the court recognized this case for what it truly was. A law enforcement officer doing his job in a high-risk encounter with a known fugitive," adding, "This ruling not only vindicates our client but also sends a strong message in support of those who serve with honor and integrity." The Attorney General's office prosecuted this case. Attorney General Dana Nessel has also put out a statement reading in part, "I am disappointed that the case's transfer to federal court ultimately resulted in its dismissal and am deeply concerned with the precedent it sets, that individuals deemed federal officers by federal authorities can commit lethal crimes against Michigan residents with impunity. Such a precedent is dangerous and fundamentally undermines the principles of justice and accountability our legal system is meant to uphold." Nessel adds her office is currently exploring appellate options in this matter. Reporting in studio, I'm Matt Whitghost, Fox 17 News.
Earlier this year, Sterling's family filed a civil lawsuit alleging his constitutional rights were violated when law enforcement used excessive force against him. They're being represented by attorney Ben Johnson. He released a statement reading in part, "Let me be clear. While this criminal case has been dismissed, our fight for civil justice is not. This only strengthens the resolve of my co-counsel Ben Crump and me to pursue every legal avenue in our civil case to hold Keeley and all others involved accountable for the preventable death of Samuel Sterling. Samuel's family deserves answers and justice, and we will not stop until they get both." This decision contrasts with a state court's decision to bind the case over for trial. That was before it was ultimately sent to federal court. Now, a legal and law enforcement expert says this decision indicates different standards of review between state and federal courts.
Basically said that Sergeant Keeley, acting as a special deputy in this U.S. Marshals task force, was acting within the scope of his duties and that he acted reasonably. So he's treated as a federal officer, and he's granted the immunity as a federal officer would in this situation under the Supremacy Clause because there's a conflict between federal laws and state laws.
Now, as far as what's next, Langham says the AG's office may try to find a way to go forward based upon a state law that doesn't conflict with federal law, though he